Welcome to this explainer. Today, we are unpacking Dr. Myles Munroe's absolute game-changer of a framework for uncovering and, more importantly, releasing your hidden abilities. Look, if you're someone who just knows that somewhere deep inside there is still so much you haven't tapped into, so much left to do and expose to the world, then you are absolutely in the right place. Let's get right to it.
Okay, let's start by confronting the book's core, and honestly, kinda heartbreaking premise. The author argues that yes, it's a tragedy to watch potential die untapped. But you know what's even worse? Watching it live completely unreleased. Millions of people just settle, burying their hidden talents in the cemetery of their very last accomplishment. And we really don't want that. To put this into perspective, when this book was written, there were about 5.8 billion people on Earth. Today, we're well over 8 billion. But the fundamental truth remains exactly the same. Out of all those billions, no two individuals are exactly alike. Your fingerprints, your genetic code, your chromosome combinations, they are entirely 100% distinct. You were literally created to be an original. Yet we spend so much of our time trying to fit in that we basically become mere copies. Listen, you were never designed to just blend in.
So that brings us to Section 1, the curse of the norm and escaping the trap of average.
Now, the greatest threat to being all you could be is simply being satisfied with who you currently are. Society has a way of making the norm feel super comfortable and the average seem highly respectable. Mediocrity basically just accepts that norm to please the crowd. But maximum living, that requires pushing past those boundaries to set an entirely new standard of excellence.
Which leads into Section 2, redefining your true capacity, and the idea of the manufacturer's guarantee.
The absolutely crucial point here is the principle of capacity. Think about a sports car. If it's built with the capacity to go 180 miles per hour, its full potential was determined by the manufacturer back in the factory, right? Now, if you buy that car and only ever drive it at 30 miles per hour to get groceries, you haven't actually reduced the engine's potential capacity. The exact same principle applies to you. Your true capacity is not limited, reduced, or altered by the opinions of others, and it's definitely not capped by your previous experiences. What you have done does not equal the sum of what you can do.
All right, Section 3, Keys to Releasing Potential: Work, Cultivation, and Activation.
So this naturally leads us to a really practical question. How do we actually cultivate and feed these unique talents we possess? Because, as the text rightly points out, potential doesn't just release itself on autopilot.
Growth doesn't happen passively. To cultivate literally means to improve growth by labor and attention. And to feed means to supply with essential nourishment. You know the old saying, you are what you eat? Well, that applies to all dimensions of your potential. If you feed your mind with trash, your thoughts are going to be in the gutter. Real growth requires intentional labor and the exact right fertilizer to ensure peak performance.
Picture yourself as a massive, uncultivated landscape. You contain the capacity for immense fruit, but that fertility is only going to become evident through dedicated work and care. Work isn't a curse. Actually, scratch that. It's more like a gift designed to help you discover what you're really capable of. It brings out possibilities from a person that would otherwise just wither away. Laziness is, quite simply, the abortion of that potential.
Now, Section 4, the power of limitations and viewing them as protection, not restriction.
Our natural instinct is to view rules as a total drag, right? But think about electricity. Flipping a switch safely lights up a whole room, but sticking your finger in a socket, absolute disaster. Life's limitations are established by the manufacturer to safely conduct your power, not to hold you back. For instance, if you break a rule and steal a couple $1,000 from your employer, you lose your reputation and destroy your potential to become a trusted leader. Life's rules are just there to conduct your power safely.
Let's move to Section 5, recovering your lost potential and getting back on track.
If you're feeling frustrated by past failures, please don't withhold your gifts. It is always better to fail at something than to excel at absolutely nothing. By accepting grace, forgiving yourself, and actively using those past mistakes to inform your future decisions, you can totally redeem the time you have left. Remember, your past does not measure your future.
Finally, Section 6, Purpose and the Next Generation, the Ultimate Legacy.
Just like a tiny seed carries an entire forest within it, you contain so much more than what's evident right now. The text points out something beautiful. In every bird, there is a flock. In every cow, a herd. Your abilities are actually designed to reproduce and transfer life. True success is legacy-minded.
It's not fully maximized until it reproduces itself in the people who come after you.
There's a vivid metaphor here. Don't be a pigeon if you were born to be an eagle. You gotta stop striving for mere acceptance and claim your intended altitude. An eagle that doesn't fly literally cannot fulfill its purpose. Sometimes the crises or discomforts you're facing right now, they're just the tools needed to push you out of the nest, forcing you to finally discover your wings.
So, consider the environments you are growing in today. As you step out to maximize your own life, I want to leave you with this final question to chew on. Are you burying your potential in the cemetery of the norm, or are you actively cultivating and planting it to create a forest for the next generation? The choice, ultimately, is yours.